Hi, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Hip Hop Reminiscence. I'm your host, Joe Rosen, with my co-host, Fuzz Jackson. Fuzz, say what's up.
Greetings and salutations, good people. We are here, Joe and myself, Fuzz Jacks, Hip Hop Reminiscence. Let's go get it.
Fuzz, we got a special one today. I mean, everyone's special because you're on it,
Oh,
but
thanks, buddy.
but this is a special one.
Yes, this is.
You know, there's certain groups as we're going through this rapper spotlight series, there's certain groups that we kind of wait on, right? I mean, we popped out Eric B and Rakim kind of early to see the reaction we would get, and now we are going into one of the best of all time. I mean, everyone we talk about is one of the best of all time, but this is royalty. We are doing an episode on Public Enemy, the Public Enemy, and it's special because Public Enemy is special in terms of everything, in terms of hits, in terms of voice, in terms of the number of members in the band, which can only be compared to Wu-Tang probably, in terms of longevity. I mean, everything. I mean, Public Enemy's been around for a long, long, long time. 1987 was their first album.
Yo, Bum Rush the Show.
Yo, Bum Rush the Show. And one thing I want to talk about, I went back, after we did the episode last week on MC Light.
Right.
And we were talking about production quality. And I went back and listened. Obviously, I listen to Nation of Millions all the time, but I listened to it obviously a lot this week. I was wrong. The production quality on that one isn't as bad as I thought it was. It was Eric B and Rakim, obviously. That's not great. Like you said, 36 Chambers. There's some songs that sounds like you're in the closet. Nation of Millions, they had the Bomb Squad. I should not have included though. I should have not included them in the down production quality of the late 80s because I was wrong about that. So I wanted to mention that right off the start. Fuzz, right. I'm going to give some background.
Okay.
Get your thoughts, and then we're going to jump into this, and this should be a fun episode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can't list every single member of Public Enemy ever. There's just too many, and that would probably be the full 45-minute episode. So I'm going to focus on certain guys. Now, everybody knows Chuck D.
Right.
Everybody does not know Chuck D's real name is Carlton Ridenour. Everybody knows Flava Flav. Everybody does not know that his name is William J. Drayton Jr.
Right.
Those are the two members of Public Enemy that everybody knows. Back in the day, Terminator X, Cream of the Crop DJ, former member, not a member anymore. He left a while ago. Norman Rogers is his real name. Professor Griff is a former member. Richard Griffin. He had some issues came up. They thought he was anti-Semitic and all that. Other members, including Sister Soldier, the S1Ws, Security of the First World.
Yes, sir.
Sammy Sam. DJ Lord is now the Public Enemy DJ. DJ took over for Terminator X. And of course, we can't forget the Bomb Squad production crew, one of the best production companies ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Keith and Hank Shockley, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Chuck D and Flav formed it in Long Island in 1985. They met at Adelphi University in the mid-'80s. Their first 4 albums, all certified gold or platinum. That's really hard to do in hip-hop, especially we're talking about the late 80s.
Yes, yes.
Maybe the best 4-album stretch in music ever. Not just hip-hop. I think definitely in hip-hop.
Yeah, for sure. They had that run. That run they had was crazy.
Maybe
that was a solid run.
4 albums is tough. 4 albums in a row. I'm talking in a row. We're not talking breaks, right?
Yeah.
4 albums in a row, and we'll go over the albums. But Yo Bum Rush the Show, Nation of Millions, Fear of a Black Planet, Apocalypse 91. That is tough to beat anywhere in any genre ever, right?
Right, for sure.
Right. I mean, Tribe comes close in hip hop with, the first 3, but then they drop off a little bit. But Public Enemy, that is a fearsome foursome.
Yeah. That run was highly impressive. And it didn't disappoint. You knew the next album was going to be better than the last one.
and it was over 5 years.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they took a break. It was 87, 88, 90, 91. So like it
Right.
was one after another after another.
Yeah.
Public Enemy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013 and honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Awards at the 62nd Grammy Awards. Public Enemy not only was a hip hop band, but they helped to create and define rap metal by collaborating with Living Color. Remember that in Funny Vibe in 1988? Sonic Youth on Cool Thing, and of course Anthrax with Bring the Noise in 1991, which was on Apocalypse 91.
Yep.
They were nominated for 5 Grammy Awards, Best Performance by a Rap Group 4 times, and 1 Best Metal Performance. They did not win. They were also nominated for 3 AMAs for Best Rap Album and also did not win, which is insanity, but not surprising given that rap was like a new category back then and Public Enemy was stirring the pot, to say the least, right? So, I mean, not surprising that they didn't win a Grammy. I'm going to go through the studio albums. Yo Bum Rush the Show, 1987. Nation of Millions, 1988. Fear of a Black Planet, 1990. Apocalypse, 91. The Enemy Strikes Black, 1990. Sorry, Fear of a Black Planet was 1990. Apocalypse, 91 was 91. Music in Our Message, 1994. There's a Poison Going On, 99. Revolverlution, 2002. New World Order, 2005. How You Sell Soul to a Soulless People Who Sold Their Soul in 2007. Most of My Heroes Still Don't Appear on No Stamp, 2012. The Evil Empire of Everything, also in 2012. Man Plans, God Laughs. I'm having trouble speaking today, Fuzz. 2015. Nothing is Quick in the Desert, 2017. Loud Is Not Enough, 2020. What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down in 2020. One collaboration album, Rebirth of a Nation with Paris in 2006. And of course, you can't forget the soundtrack album to He Got Game in 1998. Fuzz, you're a bebop guy. You're a New York guy.
Woo.
Give me your Public Enemy thoughts. I mean, like, what you got right out the gate?
First and foremost, the production was immaculate. The first time I ever heard Public Enemy's production, I was sold. And then after that, I heard Chuck D's voice. I was sold. And then I heard the message with the music. So I was sold. There was a time in my life where Public Enemy, and probably still today, Public Enemy could have not done any wrong in that four album run. Like the beats were slamming, the voice, the message, and it was the raps were so intelligent, and it made you think. And it also made you feel like, yo, if I didn't learn anything from this album that dropped by Public Enemy, I'm an idiot. Like everybody learns something from all their projects, and you were kind of, I know back in the circle of friends that I hung out with, you were lame. If you bought a Public Enemy album and you didn't grasp anything from it, you were lame. You know, the Public Enemy is one of the rap groups that when you put it in back then, when you put it in the CD deck or tape deck, you walked away with something when you got done with that album. Every album.
They were teachers.
They were teachers, bro.
They were teachers. First and foremost, there's never been a hip hop group like Public Enemy. I don't even know how. Never. I mean, there's, look, Nas has a lot of songs where, the message is intense and he and he goes after it. NWA had a different type of message. X-Clan is probably the closest to Public Enemy, but their message was usually they had a consistent message that they didn't really change too much, right?
Right.
Public Enemy's message was different every time. I mean, there was a theme, there's no doubt, but it was different, right? By the time I get to Arizona, it's very different than Don't Believe the Hype. It's very different than Night Train. It's very different than Night of the Living Bassheads. Like every single one, it's like, all right, we're gonna go after this. And you know what? They didn't swear very much.
No, they didn't.
You know what I mean? They
really
didn't at all. They didn't at all. So, I mean, look, and all the four. I mean, Nation of Millions, Fear of a Black Planet, Apocalypse '91, similar albums. Yo Bum Rush the Show, not so much of a similar album. That was kind of just like, all right, we're here. We got hard beats. We got a great rapper. We got Flava Flav, who we don't quite know what to do with yet,
Yeah.
right? They didn't know. They didn't have any idea what they were going to do. Like Flava Flav's the original hype man. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
he is, right?
Yeah.
He's the original hype man. But I listen to Yo Bum Rush. I'll be honest, I don't listen to Yo Bum Rush the Show that much. I listen to
Right.
Nation of Millions a lot, Fear of a Black Planet, Apocalypse '91, more than the others. But I listened to Yo Bum Rush the Show this week. Yo Bum Rush the Show is legit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And don't forget now. I think Rick Rubin had a lot to do with that album. I think that's why they sampled a lot of Slayer. Like
Yes.
if you listen to that album, there's a lot of Slayer being sampled, a lot of guitar loops from Kerry King and those guys back in the day. So yeah, that it was just a standout project, bro.
It
Like
was.
it was amazing.
It was. And it was like the beats are hard, right?
Very.
And I'm not you'll probably be a better, have a better, more important opinion on this than I do, or better opinion on this than I do. I wasn't a huge, which DJ is the best back then. Like that just wasn't my, I don't know.
Right.
Like I never really got into that much. I would talk about MCs and groups and stuff like that. But Terminator X was a great DJ,
Oh, he was amazing.
right?
He was amazing. Yeah, he was very precise. Like
He was.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was dope. And then when he did his solo stuff, that was kind of hot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
We talked about Mount Rushmore last week, Fuzz. We talked about Mount Rushmore of female MCs.
Should we? Hey Joe, should we do a Mount Rushmore of conscious rappers?
I don't want to do conscious rappers. I want to do just rap groups in general.
All right.
For a Mount Rushmore of rap groups.
Okay.
PE's on there 100%. Like there's no
For
question
sure.
about it. They're almost like, they're the headliners. Who are your other three?
Mount Rushmore groups. You got to put Tribe up.
Of course.
So my Mount Rushmore groups would probably be PE, Tribe, De La, and I have to go to the West. I would have to go. I'm gonna go out on a limb on my Mount Rushmore groups. I'm gonna go Souls of Mischief, bro.
Souls of Mischief were great. JR wants 8 Ball. So we're gonna have to do this episode soon.
Yes.
He's gonna kill us.
Yeah, he's gonna kill us, bro.
So Tribe, PE, De La, no question about it. Right?
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 for me. I'm gonna put. I had trouble here, but I'm gonna put the Roots there.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah, that's a great pick, by the way.
I think they're the best live rap group that I've ever seen, and I've seen them many, many times. And they're different. They're a different type of band, though, right? Like it's not like multiple rappers. I mean, that's why it's a little different, right? With Public Enemy, you have Chuck D and Flava Flav as the hype man. You have Tribe with Fife and Tip and De La. You have the three. But the Roots is different, right? It's Black Thought, who is the rapper. No one else is rapping. Then you have Questlove, and then you have a band, right? The only other one I thought of was NWA, just because of because of who it was composed of. But
Right.
they really only had one album. I mean, it was a sensational album, but they really only had one really good album. But the Roots for me, I've seen them live more than I've seen anyone live,
Right.
like any band ever. And to me, they're the best live performance I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
I would definitely say that.
If we were pumping in a fifth one though, Fuzz, like if we were carving in, we went up there to Mount Rushmore and are like, you know what, we're gonna put a fifth one in here that wouldn't be expected. I think I'm throwing Run DMC in there. Just for what they brought, and it's tough for me because I love the Beastie Boys so much.
Right.
But I think Run DMC and the Beastie Boys are both spectacular, and they're both close for me. But without Run DMC, there's no Beastie Boys.
Do you realize every time we do a Mount Rushmore, 3 out of 4 picks we agree we're like our last picks are always. So if I was to get up and carve another group in, I'd have to go Gangstar.
Gangstar's legit. That's a good
Yeah,
choice.
I would have
I
to go
mean,
Gangstar.
they're a really underrated band too. Like when no one ever talks about Gangstar as, I mean, Guru was legit. You know what? I'm trying to think of, when I was going through and we were doing Public Enemy this week, I'm trying to think like who was similar to Public Enemy, and I just couldn't really think of anyone. X Clan was probably the closest, but Gangstar might be the closest. I mean, but they weren't. Yeah, JR wants us to put Outkast up there. I know he does. Not quite. That's on like the Little Rushmore. We'll put Outkast.
Yo, sidebar. Hey,
Yeah.
JR's gonna love this one. JR's gonna love this one. So did you know that Outkast, every album, and this is really crazy for hip hop, right? Every album outsold the last album. I did not know that. And it was a thing, an interview I saw with Big Gip from Goody Mob. He was saying how like the first album, like Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, did 1 million. Then I think what was the second one? AT Aliens did like 2 million. Then the one after that did 3. And so he ended up getting all the way up to like, I think the last one did 11.
Well,
11 mil.
Speaker Box was huge.
Yeah, it did 11 mil, bro.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because Stankonia was before. I don't have it in front of me, but Stankonia was before Speaker Box,
and that was big.
That was huge. Stankonia took them from being rappers to being pop stars, and then Speaker Box was the whole. You notice how I just
that was the Kobe Bryant.
Exactly. You notice how I just say Speaker Box and not Speaker Box / The Love Below. I just say Speaker Box.
Drinking a haterade,
But I'm saying like Public Enemy. I mean, there is no question at all that Public Enemy is on the Mount Rushmore of rap groups,
right?
And like Face Out, right? Like them and Tribe. I mean, I have Daylop 3. I agree with you on that, and the Roots probably 4. Just because it's a little different. But I think PE and Tribe are 1, 2, 1A, 1B. Very different type of rap groups, but just the best. Tribe,
for sure.
Like I said, I've always said, Nation of Millions is I think is the best rap album of all time. Low End Theory is my favorite rap album of all time. Tribe is my favorite rap group of all time. But I think Public Enemy is the best. If that makes sense.
No, yeah, I would definitely, let me get closer. I would definitely say that. And the thing about Public Enemy too, what people don't know is just the level of talent. Like, I don't think people know that Flavor Flav's like a musical child prodigy. Like, he can play piano, he can do all kinds of shit.
He can, and it's crazy because obviously I think like he fell into that persona of like a crazy person. I don't want to say crazy person, but just like a different cat, right? Yeah. And like he's done all the like Celebrity Apprentices and celebrity like game shows and all the crazy stuff. But you know what, man, if you can capitalize over being unique, go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely. All right, the MURC, Fuzz, the most unique rap characteristic for Public Enemy.
Oh man. Damn.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, bro. There's a lot. You can say Chucky's voice. You can say this the stage presence between him and Flavor Flav. You can say the stage presence of Flavor Flav. You could talk about. I mean, there's so much. For me, it's definitely gonna have to be the message in the music.
It's the message. I agree. We don't always agree on the MURC, but I think we're 100% in line here. I think it's the message because their message is unlike anybody else's message. I mean, they're not the only ones to ever have a message, but they were all about the message. And, we talk about, different types of rappers, gangsta, conscious, pop, whatever, political. These guys were political rappers. They were there trying, they weren't saying fuck the police. They were trying to get people to rise up, to do something, to act in a very, very specific way about very specific subjects. Right? And even songs like 911 is a joke, which isn't my favorite Public Enemy song, but had a message, had a very important message that when we call 911, they don't show up.
Right.
you know?
Right. Everything they did, man, really had people self-aware. Like earlier when you were talking about by the time I get to Arizona, like when that song dropped, bro, like woo. When Fight the Power dropped, the first time you ever heard Rebel Without a Pause, the
Yep.
first time you ever heard Bring the Noise,
Yep.
She Watched Channel Zero, like all just everything, man, was just so top tier and so far beyond anything else you've ever heard.
I agree 100%. Best album, you know mine. I don't know yours. This you might throw me for a loop here.
Well, Public Enemy,
Yeah.
yeah, shit, dude, it's a toss up between I'm gonna have to go with Nations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with It Takes the Nations of Millions to hold us back, man. Yeah.
If it was any other group and we were talking about Fear of a Black Planet or
Hmm.
Apocalypse 91 or even Yo Bum Rush the Show, I mean, you can make an argument that it would be almost any other group's best album. But because Nation of Millions is so perfect, I mean, it's really perfect.
Right,
Zero skip songs ever. Like there's nothing you can even attempt to skip. And it's not like it's not a story, it's not a storybook, right? Like sometimes like Kendrick has a storybook, right? Like To Pimp a
right,
Butterfly is a storybook. It's not a storybook, but it's a collection of short stories that are very, very important and kind of feed, and they have a similar theme, but they have very different messages,
right,
you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely say that. And not only that, let's do another sidebar and let's talk
Sidebar to the
about the
sidebars, baby.
sidebar
Yeah.
to the sidebar, son. Let's talk about the collaborations. Some of the most memorable, monumental, no pun intended, some of the most
I
monumental,
like that.
some of the most monumental guest appearances ever. Anthrax, big. You got Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane,
Yeah. Ice
and
Cube.
Ice Cube on one song, "Burn Hollywood Burn." You got this. I mean, gosh, man, you got the stuff they done with Sister Soldier. I mean, just amazing, man. Like you can't go wrong with Public Enemy, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree. And this is an easy, like for best album. I mean, it's a Nation. I mean, Nation of Millions. I think I mentioned this when we talked about the Billboard, or I mean when we talked about our best albums. I think it's the best album in any genre of music ever made. I
Yeah,
really do. And I don't even know what else. Like you put that up with Nirvana, you put that up with 10 by Pearl Jam. I mean, Low End Theory I would put in there, of course, because that's my favorite. But I mean, you put that up with Michael Jackson Thriller. You know what I mean? Like you can put that up with those albums and it
yeah,
holds and it really, really holds up. Now, best song's a lot harder, Fuzz. I
yeah.
mean, best song,
Hey,
you
look, for every best song you throw, and this is what's crazy about Public Enemy, Joe. For every best song you throw, I could throw one right back. Like this is like,
be
you know,
15, be 20
yeah,
of them.
this is McEnroe and Jimmy Connors.
It is. What's you can only I have 3 here, but I'm not gonna say 3.
Okay.
I think I wanna say I'm just gonna say 1, but I wanna hear your 1 first.
Um, my one is gonna have to be Rebel Without a Pause.
That's in my 3.
Yeah.
That's in my 3, and do you remember when you heard that? Like,
Yes.
and yes, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? When it came
Yes.
out, and like I grew up, outside Philly too. So when he's talking about Charles Barkley, like it's just everything about that, right? Everything about that. I mean, that beat, that's just like it's almost a perfect song.
Yeah. And you know what? Like when I first heard it, I was like, "Yo, what is the deal with the fucking whistling?"
Right? Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and then the more I listened to that song, bro, I was like, "Yo, this probably has to chill out." Sorry, Levi's bugging right now. This probably has to be one of the most simplest, hardest songs ever.
I agree. I think so. The best song, in my opinion, is not my favorite song by them, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
my favorite song by them, I think, is Welcome to the Terror Dome, but I don't think it's the best
Woo!
song. I think their best song is Fight the Power. I think Fight the Power, every song they had a message. But the message in Fight the Power was so strong and so important at the time, and was part, obviously everybody remembers it, and for Do the Right Thing, right? Like and it was just, and it's the last song on Fear of a Black Planet, right? Like it's, I think that's their best song, because I'm like factoring in everything, right? Now, Welcome to the Terror Dome, I think, is my favorite song. And I will say this: I have wanted, folks know that I'm a baseball agent, and I tend to represent a lot of pitchers. The pitchers nowadays don't ask me for my choices for their, songs they walk out to. However, if they did, and if I was representing a closer specifically, Welcome to the Terror Dome, I think, is the greatest walk-in song for a pitcher. And no one's ever, I've tried to get so many different pitchers to walk into Welcome to the Terror Dome, and I get nothing. I
Yeah.
get
Oh
nothing,
yeah. 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 Absolutely their loss.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing I remember growing up, and again, like, remember I talked about this a little bit with Ice Cube, was that Ice Cube, got accused of being anti-Semitic at times. So did Chuck D. And so did Public Enemy. And part of it was Welcome to the Terror Dome, when he says the so-called chosen, frozen, apologies, you know what I mean? Like when he gets into that. Um, I've read a lot about that. I don't think it's what people think it means. I don't know for sure,
Right.
but I've never, Chuck D has come out and has said it's not that. I know that he's gotten accused, not recently, but in the past, of having some anti-Semitic lyrics. But I feel like I've read enough about it, and I'm gonna take his word for it. Same as I did
Right.
for Ice Cube.
Right. Right. Right.
But we
Right.
got we got to bring up the controversies. We're talking about them. We got to bring up the controversies, and
Yeah. I
and
think,
yeah,
go ahead, Joe. Go, go,
I'm
go.
gonna
I don't
say,
want to
and
interrupt.
then Griff had the anti-Semitic thing too. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, yeah. I think, at that time too, like, people weren't really reading up on a whole lot of stuff that they were talking about. I think they were just hearing a few words here and there and kind of just running with it.
Yeah,
So it kind of really did make people not understand the message. And then also when the shit happened with him and Griff, they kind of had to separate themselves from Griff.
yeah. Griff left. Yeah,
Yeah, Griff left. Actually, what's crazy? Griff left, and I don't know if you remember this, but Griff left and had a solo album on Luke Skywalker Records.
that I did not know, and I
Look
can't
that
believe.
up.
I
Yeah,
will. I have
look
to
that up.
imagine it's probably not the greatest album in the world.
It's very like it's Griff being Griff, but it's like, like the whole time you're like, how the fuck did this shit? How did him and
Right.
Luther Campbell end up linking up? It's an interesting story. You should read that. Read
I
about that.
def I
But
definitely
yeah,
will,
it's
and I
it's
think,
weird.
and them getting rid of Griff, because, like, look, I know that it was an amicable split or whatever, but I mean, they got rid of Griff. Like, after he said what he said, they got rid of Griff, and that made me think, like, all right, they're taking action, right? Because of what he said that was considered anti-Semitic, and they're taking action. So, like, I want to believe in Chuck, and I've never really had any reason not to. And it's not like, look, they've been around since 1987. I mean, that's 36 years, right? I mean, the last album they put out
Right.
was 3 years ago, but they're putting out music for 30 years. And they had the Griff controversy, and they had the lyrics of Welcome to the Terror Dome, but there really hasn't been that much controversy
No.
about Public Enemy. And like I said, they don't really swear.
Yeah. And you know what? Speaking of controversy, bro, I'm kind of glad that Flavor Flav chilled the fuck out,
Yep.
because like that shit was starting to look messy. And we were getting so caught up on his reality show stuff that we were kind of forgetting why we loved Flavor Flav.
Absolutely.
So
I
I'm kind
agree.
of glad that whole reality side of him died down, because we were really, we were watching. Well, I don't know about you, Joe, but some, like, I'll say I'll just put myself out there. I was watching Flavor of Love and shit, and then I remember I was like, you know what? This is not why I was in the Flavor Flav. I was in the Flavor Flav because he's the best hype man ever, not because
Absolutely.
he's got 30 women in the house. So I'm kind of glad that shit chilled out.
I agree.
because
Yeah,
we're
I
forgetting
agree.
about that.
I did not watch that show.
Yeah, yeah, man.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm not a big reality show. My wife tries to get
yeah.
me to watch I used to watch Survivor, but it was like very repetitive, and I'm more of a scripted, Ozark, The Wire, Sopranos, that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
underrated song, Fuzz. This is really hard
Oh,
because they had so many hits, so it's hard to say something's underrated. But
I got three.
okay, give me three.
I got three under, and this is I'm gonna give you the short list, Joe.
Okay,
Burn Hollywood, Burn. I felt
that's
like it's
that's
underrated.
a good one because that was never really on the radio.
Yeah, I
Very
felt.
very short time. Very short
Yeah,
time.
very very short time. I felt that I was even surprised they had a video for it. They got a
Yes.
music video for it. Yeah. Bring the Noise.
I don't
I
think
feel
that can be
super underrated.
underrated though, because that was like their almost that might be one of their biggest hits ever. And they did that with Anthrax. I like
But
that
see,
was
look,
yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so look, me and my weird psychology.
I
So
understand.
I I felt like that song. Okay, so I feel like it's a big song, but I feel like it's big for the wrong reasons. I feel that people consider it a big song just because of the Anthrax collaboration, but I feel like people just didn't fall in line with the message behind that song.
Understood. So you're
Yeah, so
I got it.
so yeah, you feel
Yeah.
what I'm saying, Joe? I mean, I
So
know Joe, me, you, we're like here, so I
absolute
know, you know what I mean?
absolutely. So you're saying that it was underrated because people didn't like people understood the message on Don't Believe the Hype. They understood the
Right,
message on Fight the Power. They
right.
understood the message,
By the
I
time I get
mean,
to
by the
Arizona,
time I get to Arizona, I'm with you. Yeah, that's it. They remember I said I had three in my list for best song, and I picked Fight the Power. Bring the Noise would have been fourth. It was Welcome to the Terror Dome, Rebel Without a Pause, and Fight the Power. And I think Fight the Power is it. But I could see that. Then you have a third. What was your third underrated song?
yo, my third was Don't Believe the Hype.
That didn't get the attention on that album
Right.
that some of the other ones did, and the message was really important there.
I felt that I don't think that was ever a single.
I'm not sure. I will say
I
this.
don't
It Don't
was it?
Believe the Hype holds up really well, and I'll tell you why. Because Don't Believe the Hype was about the media coverage, right? Back in 88. But you could apply Don't Believe the Hype to social media so
Yeah,
easily,
yeah.
and it's there. It's so hard to do an underrated song. I'm like, do I just pick a song that wasn't on the radio, like My Uzi Weighs a Ton? Do I pick a song,
Woo!
right?
Ah,
Like Public Enemy number one, like that song,
what?
right? Like those songs on that. But I'm gonna
Black,
say
black, black Steel in the Hour of Chaos.
Black Steel in the Hour of Chaos. Here's what I know this isn't really the definition of underrated song, but hear me out on this one.
All right.
I think their most underrated song is By the Time I Get to Arizona, because even though it was played on the radio and obviously it was one of the big, it was a big hit for them. But the message in that caused, I don't want to say that song caused Martin Luther King Jr. Day to be a national holiday,
Right.
but I'm not going to say it didn't either,
Right.
right? Because there were some states back then who weren't honoring it. And they
Not at
put out
all.
a song, right? Arizona, I mean, including Arizona, and they put out a song to say, all right, this needs to be done. This guy is more important than all the other guys that were honoring for President's Day, or as important as the guys who were honoring for President's Day. And there are not a lot of songs in general, hip hop, pop, whatever, that have a political effect, right? Like that song did. So that's why I want to call it underrated.
Yeah, yo, I totally agree. And it's funny that people really that song applied a lot of pressure on that subject.
It did.
Like that was like the Hulk Hogan leg drop.
Yeah.
Like like it applied a lot. It made people really really look at that holiday and be like, you know what, maybe we should like
Yeah.
reconsider. Yeah, it was a great song, man.
It was a tremendous song. And I will say this about Public Enemy too, because call them conscious, call them political, call them whatever you want. They're rappers that are very conscious that I love, like Kendrick Lamar, that I've mentioned. Some of his songs I have to like go look up the meaning for it, right? It's just so complex that I don't understand it. I don't live in his world. that I have to go, I have to go read up on it. I have to do that for some like TV shows too, especially like sci-fi shows that I don't really get that I'll look them up, right? But Public Enemy, you didn't have to do that. Public
No, you
Enemy,
didn't. You
Public
didn't.
Enemy, the message was it wasn't super complex. It was here it is. We're gonna hit you with it and we're gonna hammer it home. You know what it's about if you listen,
Right.
right? Like you can listen to a Kendrick Lamar song 14 times and still not know what he's talking about. You listen to Public Enemy one time, you know what he's talking about. You know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I skip song Fuzz. This is tough. And I'm
Oh,
and I mean you could look, they had a lot of albums. There's a lot of albums that came after Apocalypse 91 that had more skip songs than those four.
right.
But I'm gonna keep my skip song to the first four.
Yeah. My skip song is the one off of. I think it's one of those scratch songs.
The Terminator
Off,
X songs.
yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those, but I think that's it though.
Then
I forgot the name of it though. You know what I'm talking about, Joe? Bass in your face, bass in your face.
yeah.
It's just like all that. Yeah.
Well,
That,
the Terminator X on Nation of Millions starts out as a scratch song, but then Chuck starts rapping. My
yeah.
I don't think I would have called this a skip song when I listened to it in 1990 or 91. First of all, Nation of Millions has no skip songs, zero. Period.
Right.
Fear of a Black Planet has zero. Well, I don't know. You know me and skits, right? Like I'm not a big skit guy. So I don't want to sit here and say 911 is a joke as a skip song because that's not fair because the message is really, really important.
Right.
But man, you listen to Flav's voice over and over. It's like, all right. I wasn't look, I liked the Flav songs, right? So where I'm going with this, 911 is a joke, isn't my skip song, but Can't Do Nothing For You, Man, which I think is
That's
actually
just
on Nation, yeah, which I actually think I think that might be on Nation of Millions now that I just said that there's no skip songs on it.
No, I think that's on Fear of a Black Planet.
Is it on Fear of a Black
I
Planet?
think so.
It's hard to tell because, like, I think 911 is a joke is on Fear, but
Or it might be Apocalypse 91.
yeah, I'm not sure. JR is gonna have to get us.
Yeah,
Breakdown.
can we get JR to check that out for us?
Which one is Cold Lamping on? Cold Lamping.
Oh, that's
Cold Lamping with Flavor. But
that's
that one is
Nations. That's Nations.
Yeah, that one's Nations. But Can't Do Nothing For You, Man was the one when I listened to this week where I'm like, yeah, I could probably do without it. Because, I mean, Flav had Can't Do Nothing For You, Man. He had Cold Lamping. I'm cold lamping, right? 911 is a joke.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it is a bit of a mess. So, if again, I'm not skipping these songs, like they're not really skip songs, but if I'm skipping anything on Public Enemy, I'm not skipping Chuck.
Yeah, no doubt.
That makes sense.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Do you remember? I just remember his like part of his third verse on Cold Lamping, and I remember listening to that shit, and I remember I was like, "What the fuck is he?" Like when he said, I think he said the one line he was like, "Flavor, all flavors, onion and garlic, French fried potatoes, make your breath stink, breathe fire." Like
Flavor Flav is the son, Public Enemy number one, right? Like, I mean, but look, here's the thing. I'm not skipping though. I know I'm not.
Yeah. I feel
I'm not skipping them. But if I'm going to skip something, I'm going to skip something. Here, I'm gonna. You know what? I'm going to pull it up. You know what I'm going to do?
But that beat's hard though.
It is.
That beat's hard body for real, Joe.
Fear of a Black Planet has 911 as a joke. I should have just looked it up before, and written it down. That has 911 as a joke. Right. Can't do Nothing For You, Man is on Fear of a Black Planet too.
Okay.
Apocalypse, and then Cold Lamping is on Nation of Millions. Okay. Cold Lamping with Flavor is on Nation of Millions. So I will reiterate that Nation of Millions does not have any skip songs. Fear of a Black Planet, Can't Do Nothing For You, Man. If I'm skipping anything, I'm probably skipping that. But again, okay. I'm not really skipping it.
Gotcha.
When you think of Public Enemy, what do you think of right away?
Shoot, a movement.
I like that.
A movement. That's definitely what I think of when I hear. What about you?
Hall of Fame.
Woo! Yeah.
right? Like I think of Tom Brady, I think of Tiger Woods, I think of Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. That's what I think of when I think of Public Enemy.
Got you.
They
Got you.
are, you know, the best of all time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I think of. I mean, they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. That's 20 years too late, right? Well, not 20. Yeah. Yeah. 20 years
Yeah.
too late.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's okay. They got in, right? They got
Yeah.
in. And it took a while for rappers to get in. So that's
It
fine.
did. It did.
Yeah.
And you know what? And let's hit it with another sidebar. Shouts out to Public Enemy, DJ Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince, and so many other rap groups at that time who boycotted the Grammys until they put that category in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
still, it is amazing to me when I look back at it that they were nominated for so many awards and they didn't win. Because if they got the nomination, why aren't they winning?
Right.
If you're not going to nominate them because you don't want to put them in there because they're Public Enemy and what they stand for, whatever. I get that. If you're I don't buy into it. You know that, but I
Right.
could understand that the Grammys back in that time didn't want to recognize that type of music. But if you're nominating them, how can they not win?
Right.
They should win.
Hands down.
What
Hands
group?
down.
So Public Enemy is a group, so it's hard to combine them with another group. But if we're taking Chuck D, master rapper Chuck D, Mr. Chuck D,
Ooh, yeah.
and we're putting him in a group by himself with other rappers, what are we doing?
We're putting him in a group with Big Daddy Kane and Ice Cube.
That's what we're doing. 100%.
Yeah,
Right?
we're having our own big three.
We're popping an album out. Like that's what we're doing. We're taking Burn Hollywood Burn and we're combining those three guys, Chuck D, Big Daddy Kane, and Ice Cube 100% and popping out multiple albums.
Yeah, all day long.
It's yeah, I have that written here. I wrote here a Chuck D, Ice Cube, Big Daddy Kane combo like Meth and Red would be cool.
Right. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
You know, Meth and Red did it. Yeah, it's so before we get into 4 words, Fuzz, I mean, we could talk about Public Enemy for an hour and a half. I mean,
Right.
it's that good. And we really only talk. I mean, look, we've done this. We've done a number of these rapper spotlight episodes. You know, Outkast, MC. See, Outkast and Eric B and Rakim were a little different, right? Because they only had a few albums.
Right.
So with those two groups, we talked about those two out with all of their albums, especially Eric B and Rakim. MC Light had more. Obviously, Public Enemy's had a lot. Ice Cube, Method Man have had a lot too. So we've really focused the Method Man, Public Enemy, MC Light, and Ice Cube episodes on the old school, right?
Right.
The stuff that we grew up with. So even though we didn't really talk about those other albums, just that 4 album stretch, Yo Bum Russia Show, Nation of Millions, Fear of a Black Planet, and Apocalypse 91. I don't think that anyone could come up with a better 4 album stretch in hip hop, and I'm not sure anyone could come up with a better 4 album stretch in music.
Damn. Yeah, I'm trying. I want to argue, but I don't think I can. Like,
It's real. I mean,
that's
there's
a
some
hard one, bro. There's
is.
some groups, but that's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Tribe argument, there's a De La argument, but I think once you get to 4, if we're talking 3, right? If we're talking 3,
if you're talking 3, you got something that can hang.
Yeah, right. If we eliminate Yo Bum Russia Show, even though that's really good too, but I'm not. If we eliminate that and we're just talking Nation of Millions, Fear of a Black Planet, Apocalypse 91, you could throw the first 3 Tribe albums out there. You could throw De La out there. I mean, you could throw Eric B and Rakim potentially out there, but I think when you put 4 there, I don't think there's anyone.
You know what? I think there is, and there's only one, and we just talked about them earlier. 4 album run. Gangstar.
Against Public Enemy, though?
Well, okay. I'll stop. Let me stop right there. I'm about to end up in a swamp on this one. let me Now, if I were to say what other group had a nice 4-run album,
yeah,
little album, 4-album run, I would say Gangstar. But to compete with Public Enemy, no. But I would say if there's another group that had their own little 4 album run, probably would be Gangstar.
I'm even trying to think of like country artists, rock artists, at their at their prime that had this type of run, like that type of 4 album run, and I can't
No.
really think of one. I mean, in country, Luke Combs, you can make an argument for because his first 4 albums have been spectacular.
Would you say Garth Brooks in the 90s?
Maybe Dave Matthews Band had a run. Pearl Jam had a run. But Pearl Jam, I mean, but it wasn't 4 albums. I mean, Pearl
Two
Jam.
or three, two or three,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 or 3.
I mean,
Stop, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they were good, but like
Yeah.
you get to like the third one, you're like, all right, I'm gonna take a break.
Even so, I'm trying to think. The two that should come to mind, right, Fuzz, are Prince and Michael Jackson.
Right.
And you have Michael Jackson, you have no, but you just I mean, you have 3, right?
Yeah. Cause yeah.
You have
I,
I mean, why am I blanking on the first one, which is my favorite album? Then you have Thriller, and then you have Bad, and then Prince. You had 3. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know we're just
no,
talking. We're like
no,
babbling
but
now.
I'm trying
Yeah,
now, but like you're right though. Like when you start breaking it down, like it's I don't know.
yeah, it's really hard. But Fuzz, last thoughts on Public Enemy before we get to 4 words.
One of the greatest rap groups ever, in point.
Yep, I think one of the greatest groups ever. I mean,
Yeah.
just on the Mount Rushmore of
You can
hip
put them
hop
up
rap
there.
groups, definitely, and one of the best groups of all time in any music genre. Which
Yeah, for sure. For
for
sure.
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, Fuzz, let's go to 4 words,
All right, let's
and
do it.
let's bring it home.
All right. We back one more time, hitting you with 4 words. You can be like Edward Norton, and we can make you hit the curb. Let's go.
First word is hype.
Hey, it's hype, so you better believe it. When it comes to me getting hype with a mic, I'm going to retrieve it. I'm Colt Seaver. I'm a fall guy with it. I'm going to spit it hype until the crowd submit it.
Ooh, flavor.
Flavor. In your ear, no, it's not Craig Mack. Flavor what you savor when you hearing Fuzz Jacks. My behavior's getting iller, so y'all gonna pay a tax. Yeah, boy, when I walk in a place, now that's that.
Ooh, 911.
Ain't no joke. Might be sometimes, depending where you live.
That's awesome.
The next word.
And then my Uzi.
Ooh, my Uzi weighs a ton like Chuck's D. It's F-U-W-Z in the state of NC. Powder blue state of mind when you come see me. My Uzi weighs a ton. I'm a great one like Gretzky.
Ooh, great finisher. That's awesome. And you know what? We spent a lot of time on this episode, and Public Enemy deserves it. They definitely
Yeah, for
do.
sure, man. Salute. Yeah. For real, for real.
Isn't it crazy too? Like we're sitting there, talking about Nation of Millions, Fear of Black Planet, Apocalypse 91, and Yo Bum Rush's show too. And it's like all the flavor songs were like, which one was on which album? Like, because we know them all, right? Like we know Lamp and we know 911, we know, Can't Do Nothing For You, Man, but it's and there's always 2 flavor songs on every album, but it's hard to remember which ones they were on, right?
And you know what? We forgot about the one, but we can't say the title.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we forgot. Yeah, forgot about that one.
We can't do. Yeah, we definitely can't say the
we
title.
Can't do that one. But
yeah,
it's
funny, like I know every single Chuck. Like you say, Fight the Power, Don't Believe the Hype, right? Like the Chuck songs. I know what albums they're on, but the flavor ones are kind of all the same. That I can't remember which ones they're on. You know what I mean?
Right. And did he ever do a solo album? No, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if people would have bought that one. Like, I can listen to him 2 songs an album. That would have been more. You know?
Yeah, I mean? Yeah, you probably had to give him an EP. You like
EP.
5 songs.
Absolutely, an EP is perfect for him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So awesome. Well, we appreciate everybody listening to this very, very special episode of Rapper Spotlight Series Public Enemy. Again, my name's Joe Rosen with my co-host Fuzz Jackson. You can visit us on hiphoprem.com. Our Twitter handle is hiphopremin. We are out there on TikTok. And Fuzz, tell them where they can hear you.
Yo, Fuzzjacks, Fuzzjacks1 on TikTok, Fuzzjacks Instagram, Fuzzjacks Facebook, and Fuzz Jackson, and Fuzzjacks on Twitter. Holla at your boy. And don't forget to read that at the bottom and check out some stuff on fuzzjacks.bandcamp.com. Good people.
Awesome. For Fuzz, this is Joe. We'll see you soon.
Peace.